Zarek floated above the blue planet. His hands moved over the control panel inside his small fighter ship. Around him, dozens of other alien ships hovered in Earth's orbit. The mission was simple: watch, gather information, and return home. Zarek was a soldier of the Vorten Empire, trained never to fear anything. But today, something was wrong. Without warning, red lights flashed inside Zarek's ship. The control panel beeped loudly. The engines roared and shook. Zarek's eyes widened. "What's happening?" he shouted. Before he could react, a powerful force pulled his ship toward Earth. He tried to steer, tried to send a message for help, but the system was dead. Outside his window, he saw two other ships explode in flames. Were they under attack? Or was this some Earth weapon no one had warned them about? Zarek didn't know. All he knew was that he was falling fast. The ship tore through the clouds. Heat surrounded it. Alarms screamed louder. Zarek grabbed his emergency gear, but deep down, he knew it was too late. The ground raced toward him. And then, crash. The ship smashed into a dense jungle. Trees broke like twigs under the force. Metal twisted and ripped apart. When everything stopped moving, Zarek lay still inside the broken remains of his ship. Smoke filled the air. Fire crackled around him. His body hurt everywhere. Blood, dark blue, oozed from a deep cut on his forehead. He groaned and tried to sit up. Pain shot through his chest. His breathing was heavy. He looked around. No one else had survived. His teammates, gone. Only their broken ships and scattered armor pieces remained among the burning trees. Zarek was alone. He touched his suit's control on his arm. The oxygen level was dangerously low. The crash had destroyed the main tank. He had maybe an hour, maybe less. He needed help. But from where? This was Earth. Humans lived here. And Zarek knew what the Vorten leaders always said. Humans are wild. Humans are dangerous. They will kill you without mercy. He pressed a hand against his bleeding side and crawled out of the wreckage. His legs shook under his own weight. Every step felt like lifting a mountain. The jungle was thick. Giant trees loomed over him. Strange animal sounds echoed in the distance. The ground was wet and muddy. Zarek stumbled forward, leaving a trail of blood behind. His mind raced. He needed to find a hiding place, somewhere to send a distress signal, somewhere to survive until his people came to rescue him. Minutes passed like hours. His vision blurred. His body grew weaker. He fell to his knees near a fallen tree. His breathing became slower. The world around him spun. Then, crunch. Soft footsteps. Zarek's heart pounded in his ears. He turned his head slowly toward the sound. Humans. He could hear them, walking closer, whispering to each other. Panic gripped his chest. They had found him. He dragged himself behind the fallen tree, trying to hide. But it was useless. His bright armor, even broken and burnt, was too easy to spot among the green plants. The voices grew louder. "Did you see that light?" One voice said. "It crashed right here." "Be careful," said another. "What if it's dangerous?" Zarek's breathing slowed. His body told him to sleep, but his mind screamed at him to stay awake. He pressed his back against the tree trunk, his hand reaching for the small laser knife at his belt. He would fight if he had to. Even half dead, he would not die like an animal. A small group of humans appeared between the trees. 3 of them. 2 men, 1 woman. All wore strange clothes, simple jackets, boots, and pants. They held small flashlights and basic tools, not weapons. They looked at the wreckage, then spotted Zarek. One of the men gasped and stepped back. The other man grabbed a large stick. The woman froze, staring at Zarek with wide eyes. She was young, maybe 20 years old, with brown hair tied back and a small medical bag slung over her shoulder. For a long second, nobody moved. The humans stared at Zarek. Zarek stared back, too weak to stand, too proud to beg. Inside his mind, one thought screamed louder than anything else. They will kill me now. This is the end. The woman took a step closer. Her friends shouted, "Sarah, no, stay back." But she didn't listen. She dropped her bag and raised both her hands, showing she carried no weapon. Zarek's vision blurred again. He could barely see her face anymore. She said something softly, too soft for him to understand. But her tone, it didn't sound angry. It didn't sound cruel. It sounded kind. Zarek's head dropped. The world faded into darkness as the humans rushed toward him. And the scene cut to black. Zarek drifted in and out of darkness. Voices floated around him, strange and blurry. He couldn't understand the words, but he felt hands lifting him, moving him. Pain shot through his body, sharp and deep. He tried to fight, tried to push them away, but his arms were too weak. "Hold him steady," a voice said urgently. "He's bleeding bad. We need to move fast." Someone pressed something soft against his wounds. Warmth spread through his chest. Zarek gasped, but he didn't have the strength to resist. The humans were carrying him. Through the trees, over rough ground. Every step hurt. Every breath burned. But they didn't drop him. They didn't hurt him more. After what felt like forever, Zarek felt a different air. Cooler, less smoky. A shelter. They brought him into a hidden camp deep inside the jungle. Tents made of cloth and metal stood between thick trees. Small fires burned in barrels. Humans moved everywhere. Some cooking, some fixing equipment, some standing guard. As the rescuers entered with Zarek, everyone stopped and stared. Whispers filled the air. "Is that what I think it is? An alien? Are you crazy bringing it here?" Sarah, the young woman with the medical bag, shouted back, "He's hurt. He needs help." A tall man, maybe their leader, stepped forward. His face was hard and full of doubt. "You don't know what you're doing," he said. "That thing could be dangerous. It could kill us all." Sarah stood firm. "He's not attacking. Look at him. He's dying." The leader's eyes narrowed. He looked at Zarek like he was deciding if he was worth saving. Finally, he gave a short nod. "Put him in the med tent, but if he moves wrong, we end it fast." The two men carrying Zarek laid him down inside a small tent. It smelled of medicine and old cloth. Sarah quickly opened her bag and pulled out supplies. She cut away the broken parts of Zarek's armor and cleaned his wounds. Zarek flinched at the touch of cold water and strange earth medicines. But he didn't resist. Deep inside, he knew if they wanted to kill them, they would have already done it. Sarah worked fast, focused, her hands steady. She muttered to herself, "Broken ribs, deep cuts, blood loss. We have to be careful." One of the other men, a rough-looking guy with a scar on his face, stood at the tent's entrance, holding a large rifle. He didn't take his eyes off Zarek. "If he twitches, I shoot," he growled. Sarah ignored him. She wrapped Zarek's wounds tightly and gave him a small shot of painkiller. She didn't know if it would even work on alien biology, but it was better than doing nothing. Zarek watched her with half-closed eyes. Why were they helping him? Why risk their own lives for a stranger, for an enemy? In his world, weakness was punished. Mercy was rare. But here, these humans chose to save him. Outside the tent, the arguments grew louder. "We should leave him to die. He's one of them. What if he calls others to attack us?" Sarah stepped outside for a moment and faced them all. "Listen," she said. Her voice shook, but she didn't back down. "We're not killers. We help people, even if they're not like us." Some humans grumbled. Some shook their heads. But no one stopped her, and no one came inside to hurt Zarek. Hours passed. Zarek's breathing steadied a little. The bleeding slowed. His body stopped shaking so much. Sarah sat beside him, wiping his forehead with a wet cloth. She spoke softly, even though she knew he might not understand. "You're safe now," she said. "We won't let you die out here." Zarek tried to speak. His voice was a dry, broken whisper. He managed one word. "Why?" Sarah smiled sadly. "Because it's the right thing to do." Zarek closed his eyes. For the first time since the crash, he didn't feel fear. He felt something strange. Something he had never felt from humans before. Hope. But far away, deep in the jungle, a hidden danger moved closer. A danger neither Zarek nor the humans could see yet. And in the shadows, someone in the camp quietly activated a hidden radio, sending a secret message. "The alien is alive. Prepare for extraction." Morning came slowly over the jungle. Sunlight touched the tops of the trees, but inside the camp, the air was still heavy with fear. Zarek lay on a rough bed inside the med tent. His body hurt less now, but the pain was still deep inside him. He kept his eyes half open, pretending to sleep. He could hear everything outside. Whispers, arguments, fear. He's still alive. We should throw him back into the jungle. What if more of them come looking for him? The humans were scared, and Zarek knew fear made people dangerous. He stayed still, breathing slowly, listening carefully. Sarah came into the tent carrying a small bowl of food. She knelt beside Zarek and gave a soft smile. "I don't know if you can eat this," she said, "but you need strength." Zarek looked at the bowl. It smelled strange, nothing like the food of his world. Still, he was too weak to refuse. He took a small bite. It tasted bad, but it was food, and it kept him alive. Sarah watched him carefully. "You're lucky," she said. "If you had crashed anywhere else, you wouldn't have made it." Zarek didn't answer. He still didn't know if he could trust these humans. Maybe they were just keeping him alive for their own plans. Maybe they would use him, or betray him. Outside the tent, the camp was busy. Men and women packed supplies, checked weapons, and prepared for something. It wasn't safe here anymore, not with an alien in their camp. That afternoon, the camp leader, the man called James, came into the med tent with 2 guards. He stood over Zarek, arms crossed. His voice was cold. "You need to understand something," James said. "You are not a guest here. You're a problem." Zarek said nothing. He only stared. James continued, "We have enemies in this jungle. If they find out you're here, they will come for all of us. We have families here, kids. If you bring danger, we won't hesitate to end you." Sarah stood up, blocking James a little. "He's not a threat," she said. "He's just hurt." James ignored her. He pointed a finger at Zarek. "One wrong move," he said, "and you'll wish you died in that crash." Then he turned and left, the guards following him. Zarek's hand tightened into a fist. Not because of the threat. He had faced worse. But because he understood now. These humans were not united. Some wanted to help him. Some wanted him dead. Night fell again. Cold winds blew through the jungle. Zarek lay awake, listening, waiting. Then soft footsteps approached. Sarah came in quietly. She sat beside him, her hand holding a small device, a translator. "I fixed this," she said. "Maybe it will help you talk." She placed the device near his head and pressed a button. A soft light blinked. Zarek swallowed hard. Slowly, painfully, he spoke into it. "Thank you." The words came out broken but clear. Sarah smiled wide. "You're welcome," she said. Zarek looked at her, really looked this time. She was tired. Her face had lines of worry. Yet she stayed. She chose kindness when others chose fear. He wanted to ask so many things. Why save me? Why risk everything? But he only said, "Why? Help. Enemy." Sarah thought for a moment. Then she said, "Because maybe you're not really our enemy." Before Zarek could answer, A loud explosion shook the ground. The tent shook. Voices screamed outside. Gunfire erupted in the dark. Sarah's eyes went wide with fear. "They found us," she gasped. Zarek tried to sit up, pain burning through him. Outside, chaos filled the camp. Shadows moved between tents. Bullets flew. Fires started. Someone had attacked. Someone knew the alien was here, and they had come to take him or kill him. Sarah grabbed her small pistol and stood over Zarek. "Stay here," she said. "I'll protect you." But Zarek knew better. If he stayed lying down, he would die. He forced his broken body to move. Outside the tent, enemies rushed forward, humans with black masks and heavy guns. They didn't care about the camp. They wanted the alien. They wanted Zarek. Sarah fired her pistol once, twice, but it wasn't enough. The attackers were too many, too fast, too strong. Zarek stumbled out of the tent. He picked up a broken metal rod from the ground, the only weapon he could find. Pain screamed in every muscle. But he stood beside Sarah, side by side, an alien and a human. And as the enemy soldiers charged toward them, Zarek thought one thing: "I will not let them take me, not without a fight." The battle for survival had begun. The camp was in chaos. Gunfire filled the night air, loud and sharp. The sound of shouting and explosions echoed through the jungle. Sarah and Zarek stood side by side, their backs to the tent, eyes scanning the dark. The attackers were close now. They could hear their footsteps, the crunch of leaves under boots. Zarek's body screamed in pain, but he couldn't stop. He couldn't let them take him. Not after everything they had done for him. A group of attackers burst out of the shadows, rifles raised. They wore black gear, their faces hidden behind masks. Their weapons were aimed directly at Zarek and Sarah. "Move, now," one of them shouted. Zarek's hand tightened around the metal rod. He didn't know if it would be enough. He didn't know if he could win. But he knew one thing: he wasn't going to die without a fight. The first soldier fired, a shot aimed straight at Zarek's chest. The bullet missed by inches, hitting the ground instead. Zarek reacted without thinking. He swung the rod with all his strength, catching the soldier in the side. The man collapsed, stunned. Sarah fired her pistol at another soldier. The bullet hit his arm, making him stumble. But he quickly recovered and aimed his gun back at her. Zarek wasn't done. He charged forward, using his alien strength to knock the soldier off balance. With a quick movement, he grabbed the man's gun and twisted it out of his hand. The soldiers were disorganized now. Fear had crept into their eyes. They didn't expect a fight like this. Sarah fired again, hitting another attacker in the leg. He went down, shouting in pain. But there were more coming. More enemies rushing from every side. "We need to fall back," one of the attackers shouted. "They're too strong. We can't win." But it was too late. Zarek had already taken down 2 more soldiers, and Sarah was close behind him. The remaining attackers turned to run, but they didn't get far. Zarek and Sarah moved together, relentless. They chased the soldiers into the darkness, not stopping until the last one had fallen. The jungle fell silent. No more gunfire, no more shouting, just the wind and the rustling of leaves. Zarek stood over the fallen attackers, his chest rising and falling with every breath. His body was broken, his wounds still fresh, but he had survived. They had survived. Sarah approached him, her eyes wide with disbelief. She lowered her pistol and looked at Zarek. You actually did it. You saved us." Zarek's gaze met hers. He didn't speak, but the look in his eyes said everything. He had saved them, but he knew he couldn't do it alone. It was only because Sarah had stood by him, helped him fight, that they were alive. The camp was still a mess, but the humans had won. Sarah had saved his life, and now Zarek had saved hers. But as Zarek looked around, something gnawed at him. This wasn't over. Not yet. The leader of the attackers had dropped something. A small device, glowing faintly. Zarek bent down to pick it up, feeling a shiver run through him. It was a communicator. A signal had been sent. "They know we're here," Zarek muttered. "They'll be back. And next time, they'll bring more." Sarah's face grew pale. "They'll come for all of us," she whispered. Zarek nodded grimly. "They won't stop until they have what they want." Suddenly, the camp leader, James, appeared from behind a tent, his face drawn tight with concern. "We need to leave," he said urgently. "We can't stay here anymore. If they're coming for us, we need to move. Fast." Sarah turned to him, still shaken from the battle. "What about the others?" James shook his head. "Too dangerous. They're too close. We'll take only the essentials and get out." Zarek could see the fear in the humans' eyes. They had fought hard, but they were still outnumbered, still vulnerable. But something had changed. These humans had proven themselves. They had stood by him, even when their own lives were on the line. Zarek looked at Sarah, then at James. "You can't run forever," he said. "You need to stand your ground. This fight is just beginning." James looked at him, his expression softening. "We'll follow your lead. But we need a plan. We need to be ready for whatever comes next." Zarek nodded. "They will come. But we will be ready." The battle was far from over. And this time, Zarek wouldn't let anyone take the humans he had come to trust. Not without a fight. As the dust settled, Zarek lay on the ground, breathing heavily. Sarah crouched beside him, her face full of relief. "You're going to be okay," she said, her voice soft. Zarek nodded, though it was hard to tell if he believed her. He had fought hard, but he was alive. And the humans were safe. The warship lowered to the ground, its hatch opening. A team of humans rushed out, led by a tall woman in a uniform. She knelt beside Zarek and looked at him with understanding. "You're one of us now," she said. "We'll take you home." Zarek didn't know what to say. He had never thought he would be saved by humans. But now he realized something. He was no longer just a soldier. He was part of something bigger. And as he looked around at the humans who had fought with him, he knew this was only the beginning. They had survived together. And now they would stand together. The stars above them shined brightly. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humanity had earned his respect. Zarek had come to Earth as an enemy, but now he was one of them.